if there was a remake of Dawson's Creek and you were a cast, would you rather play Dawson or Pacey?
Why do you know that? I'm in season 4 right now, so I haven't finished it, but I literally watch, I religiously watch the show every day. And right now, I'm more of a Pacey fan just because Dawson lives this life that is just so teenager unrealistic. And everything has to be perfect. He's got his own little world, and Pacey's kind of real. He goes through real struggle.
Hey, it's Brendan Janetti.
And I'm Devin O'Haron.
And you are listening to Music You're Missing.
And we are bringing you Aiden Bissett.
But before that, we got some explaining to do. Because if you are watching us, first of all, this is the first time you'll ever be able to watch us. Second of all, we're in a new studio because we have officially signed with Big Night Media. Devin, what in God's name does that mean?
Nothing changes for you guys. You can just see us.
Yeah, but basically, we got a new producer now. His name is Peter Hurley. Shout out.
Yo.
I don't know if you can hear that, but he's off screen and he yelled. And they're going to help us out with some marketing, venue operations, social, all that jazz.
Merch.
They're so freaking cool. What was that, Devin?
Merch.
The best of all is we are soon going to have merchandise. Oh, like what I have on now, except Devin got me this for Christmas, so this one isn't for sale.
Unless that's as a joke.
If someone wants to buy it for a hefty price, that's okay too.
It'll be like Brendan Janetti wore it.
That is true. The Brendan Janetti.
A lot.
Brendan Janetti has cried in this multiple times. Anyways, so Music You're Missing, if you're new because of Big Night or because you're a homie fan of Aiden, hello, let us do a little explaining. So Devin and I both work in the music industry until I personally got absolutely fired.
I hate
and
when
Devin
you
got
say
let
that.
go because of COVID.
I didn't get let go.
Oh, whatever. You got, what is it called? Pink slipped?
No, I didn't get anything.
Furloughed?
I literally didn't get anything.
All right, whatever. Devin has a job. I don't. I got fired. I was an on-air radio personality for country radio. I don't like country music. I talked in a fake accent and I wore a fake tan.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. Devin, you were on tour.
Yes, I was.
What did you do on tour? You sing? Were you singing
I was
across
a
the
background
country?
dancer. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wishes.
I worked for a promoter and I worked for one of the VIP things.
Yeah,
one
so
of the
it was-
VIP companies.
Yes, she got to tour the whole damn country working with some big artists who we won't name, but they were big. And she got to do that for a little bit. And then for real, once we, we're like, oh shit, COVID is going to be longer than the initial 2 weeks. How can we invest our time into something that keeps us back into music? So we're like, dude, all of our favorite artists aren't getting the media attention that we want them to. So let's be the media attention. And we have a coinciding Spotify playlist where we highlight all of the artists that are featured on the show called what, Devin?
Music You're Missing.
And what track is atop the Music You're Missing playlist right now?
Communication by Aiden Bisset.
Hey, perfect segue. So Aiden Bissett is a 18-year-old young lad, and he is navigating a very unique situation because homie just signed a record deal with Capitol Records.
And he just graduated high school.
Yeah, or he's about to graduate high school in 2 days, actually, believe it or not.
He was trying to decide between colleges and then who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, so we're pretty stoked to chat with him about that. But in terms of his music, he has this really cool bedroom pop vibe. Communication is his first major label release under Capitol, and I'm so excited to see what he's got in store. Some of his previous releases, More Than Friends, have amassed 2 million streams on Spotify alone. And how many TikTok views or whatever you call it do they have?
We don't even know how many TikTok views, but some of TikTok's biggest creators have used it as a sound, and it has 57,000 videos with
Holy
the sound.
freaking shit.
Just a few. I
That
think
is
he's
wild.
doing okay right now.
I think he's doing okay. He's probably, flustered as all hell, but in the best way possible. But the only way that we can find that out is directly from the source. So without further ado, let's get Aiden Bissett on the line. How's it going, Aiden?
I'm good. I'm doing great. That's what I meant to say. I'm doing really good. How about you guys?
We're doing wonderful. We just had a really fun chat beforehand with both your manager and you. Conversation topics range from that awesome artwork piece that you have behind you to JoJo, the singer.
Yeah. It was a wide range. That's for sure.
But anyways, I know we kind of interrupted your studio time, so you were just working on new music. What? Tell us about it.
I there's this song that I started writing this week, and I think it's the coolest song I've ever written. I was going through a little bit of like a dry, area where I wasn't writing a ton because of school, because I was finishing up, my senior year of high school, so I was really focused on academics and just finishing. And so I finally got, in the past 2 weeks, was able to really write, and I started writing this one, and it's about, it's about getting dumped. Okay. But it's like, it's not like a crazy, like, oh, like boohoo. It's like let's go. Like, this is me. And that's just how it is. And it's a really fun song. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of freedom that comes with like the end of a relationship.
You're getting only can do better. That's all that matters.
No, but you're like allowed to wallow in it for a little bit. But yeah, there's that freedom no one talks about.
You have to look at the bright side.
But I think that kind of like goes back to, there's a lot of transition going on in your life right now. You just said wrapping up high school, you just signed to Capitol Records, had your first release under them. How's it going? Like, how are you doing with all of this change?
It's been, it really has been life-changing in simple terms. But yeah, balancing school and music was definitely a little bit difficult at the start. It took a while to get like a balance of things, especially towards the end, because that's when everything starts ramping up. You got the AP finals, you got graduation parties and actual graduation. My graduation is actually on Thursday. So it's coming up quick. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it was crazy getting that text. It was like, yo, man, like, we really like your music. We'd love to chat. It was literally, that felt like a dream. I had to basically pinch myself for 3 weeks straight, telling myself, no, this is real, but yeah.
Yeah, like, hold up, I gotta go to AP history real quick. Let me get back to you after.
Like, check your phone between classes type of situation. And are you going to college? I know you're kind of deciding. Like I said, we did a little deep dive. And are you going to go to school? Or are you going to take time off? I know that you were trying to decide between a few places.
Yeah, I did apply, like, before I really dove deep into music. I was just an average student looking to go to college. So before I got signed, I was still applying to schools, and I applied to NYU, Belmont, USC, and FSU. And somehow we got into all four.
Heck yeah, dude.
I don't know how that happened, but it did, which was a really cool thing. It made my parents happy, which is always nice. But I kind of narrowed it down to either USC or Belmont. And I took trips to both and saw both areas. And I love both Nashville and LA so much. But I kind of came to a decision that I want to take one semester off and really focus on music, dive deep, get in a bunch of sessions with other artists, and put all my energy into it. Because the problem I was running into with high school was I was splitting time, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I felt like I wasn't giving music my 100%, or on the flip side, I didn't feel like I was giving school my 100%. And I kind of want to, do justice to either or. If I want to do school, I want to do school. If I want to do music, I want to do music. So I really want to get ahead of my music and really focus on it. So that's why I'm kind of planning on taking this semester off. And both schools did say I still kind of have the option once spring semester comes around. So we're okay. We didn't have to make a decision.
That is so exciting. That's also like such a great, I mean, you have the opportunity there. Like, you have a label supporting you. So of course it makes so much sense to invest your time wisely. And, worst comes to worst, you graduate one semester later. It doesn't matter if you graduate like 5 years later.
Right.
It doesn't even matter if you go, as long as you're just like doing whatever you want to do. And whether it's music or college, who cares? Yeah. It's up to you and it's your life. So
fuck yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's kind of a recurring topic on the show, is we like congratulate people when they say they dropped out of college.
It's like, yes.
It's like, okay, you're doing the damn thing like enough where you can do that. So not that you dropped out, but pushing it back, like that's when you know shit's real.
And I feel like you had a crazy opportunity, so why not take it and run while you 100%. Can, especially if college can wait.
Right. And it's funny, that's what actually the administrators from both colleges, they were like, dude, you've got an opportunity here and it's a really important opportunity. You should really focus on it. So it was nice to see that they were really understanding of the circumstances that I was in. It wasn't just like don't care, come to school, that sort of thing.
That's so nice. Well, my college, sorry, go on.
Well, I'm just saying that I feel like both are such like musical and like art focused schools, especially Belmont and Nashville. That's where like so many songwriters go.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense.
My college would have just been like, I don't care, write me a check, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, mine just like, where's your alumni donation? I don't know. Non-existent.
Anyways, Aiden, another recurring thing we do is we like to play Would You Rather. But this isn't just any version of Would You Rather. It's not as scary as I'm going to make it sound. But basically, we've done our research and we like to ask, very specific Would You Rather questions.
Oh gosh.
So
nothing bad.
What's funny is we never really ask the artists if they're cool with this beforehand, so we're kind of just gonna throw it on you.
That's good. You're good.
Devin, take it away.
Okay. We know you have ties to both Portland and Tampa, and you're a big sports guy. Would you rather be courtside at a Trailblazers game or at the 50-yard line at a Bucks game?
That's so hard. Okay. You know why that's hard? It wouldn't be difficult if the Bucks were bad again, but they just won a Super Bowl. And I've been a Bucks fan since, because I originally lived in Tampa from ages 0 to 5. And then I moved to Portland for 10 years and came back. But if the Bucks were without Tom Brady and like their normal, usual selves, right? I would totally go Trailblazers because I love watching Damian Lillard and CJ kind of tear it up on the basketball court. But I think I'm going to choose, I think just because Tom Brady is just cooking right now, I'm going to go with Bucks.
We're both from Boston, so you're kind of rubbing some salt in the wound right now. But
how much were the tickets? Their tickets are on sale for that game. What are they like?
The minimum is $1,000.
Yeah,
for when they're at Gillette. Which honestly understandable. Him and Gronk,
I would 100% drop bills to see that.
The drama that is going to come from that game, I just can't. I can't
fan aggression. But
I do love the Trailblazers venue, whatever they call it. I don't know. I'm calling it the
Rose
venue.
Rose Center. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to.
The Moda Center. They used to be called the Rose Center. The Moda Center now. But I will say one thing about the Trailblazers is their fan attendance is always amazing. It doesn't even matter if they're losing. They'll have 80% go, and it's just great.
That's awesome. I feel like that's exciting to hear because I feel like other than that, I don't hear much about sports from that neck of the woods.
No. I mean, I love Oregon and I love that venue. I've had to do way more shows there than I would like to admit. But good times.
That sounds like you're a freaking exotic dancer or something.
No. They do. So this is very off topic. They make this place called The Cloud at the Moda Center, and it is the weirdest looking venue I've ever seen. They cut off a third of it, and they have the stage they had the stage sideways. I've never seen a venue like this.
That's so
they
cool.
cut off 2/3.
I'll YouTube that later.
It's the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And doing a concert there, you don't know which way you're supposed to go because it's not the right way. But it's fun. Great times. And I love how they don't have taxes.
That is nice.
That was awesome. All right. Moving on. Honestly,
this happens way too often.
Here we go. So you write a lot of your music starting with guitar. I think we read that. That being said, if you couldn't use a guitar, would you rather start with a banjo or a steel drum?
Oh my gosh.
Totally different genres we're working with here.
I think I would say, oh my gosh, what? That is so, okay. I love island music, so I'm going to go with the steel drum just because if I could just hop out of a genre, if if I was another dude in another life living in like the Bahamas, I would 100% make island music. So I'm gonna go with the steel drum.
That's good. I could honestly see that worked into some of your tracks.
Yes.
Remix, island remix.
Sick. Yeah.
If there was a remake of Dawson's Creek and you were a cast, would you rather play Dawson or Pacey?
Why do you know that? What the heck? Have I even mentioned that? Whoa.
Yes,
dude, we're professionals, baby.
No, not to be dramatic. I read like 3 different interviews and watched when you did, and each one they said Dawson's Creek in it. So I was like, we have to ask a question about it. Like,
Devin's a huge Dawson's Creek fan.
Way more than I think.
I do. No, I love Dawson's Creek, so I was like, we need to ask this question. Why not?
Okay. Ooh, I'm in season 4 right now, so I haven't finished it, but I literally watch I religiously watch the show every day. And right now, I'm more of a Pacey fan just because Dawson lives this life that is just so teenager unrealistic, and he like everything has to be perfect, and he's got his own little world. And Pacey's kind of like real. He goes through real struggle, and he has a really really decent attitude about it most of the time, and he's got a good sense of humor. So I'm gonna go with Pacey on that one. Dawson is kind of being a jerk right now.
I think that's a better answer. Honestly, Dawson always like not my favorite character.
I can't relate to any of that, but I like that.
You gotta start watching it. I
know, honestly. Well, I watched the OC the other day for like an episode. Similar vibes.
Everyone's telling me to watch.
You have to. You've never watched it.
You have to.
You have to.
Right. So I started watching Dawson's Creek. One of my team members, Bridie, who I love so much, she literally goes, Aiden, you have to watch Dawson's Creek. So I started watching it on Netflix, and I haven't stopped. And I get on in the meeting the next week, and I start just talking like, oh my gosh, Dawson's Creek. And my manager's like, you're watching Dawson's Creek, but you haven't watched the OC? And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, dude, stop watching Dawson's Creek. Watch the OC. So now that's next. That'll be after Dawson's Creek.
It's a mood. Honestly, it's a great summer show to watch. It'll like really change the way you want to like spend your summer.
And like, especially like with you right out of high school and stuff. Yeah. I love that show so much. I'm going to cry thinking about it.
I was watching it the other day. I'm like, all of these actors are legit 35 in this. Like they're trying to play high schoolers. They literally look like my uncle.
Yeah. But besides the point, on to the next one.
Yeah, this will be the last one. You can pick 4 or 5, Devin.
I feel both of them are very music related.
Let's do both.
Oh yeah. Do both, whatever.
All right, I'll just do it. Touring is coming back. Well, first of all, super fucking stoked for that. Would you rather play at Radio City Music Hall or Red Rocks Amphitheater?
Oh, this is easy. Red Rocks.
Easy.
Red Rocks. 100%.
Thank you.
Such a cool venue.
Don't get me wrong, I love Radio City, but Red Rocks is like unmatched. I mean, like, how can you like that? That's a whole like vibe. You're out there and you're just like in just nature.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just amazing.
And your music's perfect for that venue as well.
I feel it. Yeah. It's 10 out of 10 idea. I don't know why I said it like that, but yes, I agree. I think you'd be perfect at Red Rocks. All
right, wrap it up, Dev. Last question.
Okay. Would you rather add Here Is My Mind by the Pixies or Boys Don't Cry by The Cure to your set list? If you had to do.
Those are like covers I did on TikTok way back. Y'all went so far. Holy crap.
I know. Like, we're kind of creepy, but like I'm also kind of here for it.
No, I love it.
Like you guys, that I think was like the first 2 covers I did back in March of last year. That's funny. But my favorite song probably of all time is Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. And I know Pixies fans are going to hate me for that because that's not a real Pixie song. Like they hate that song because it's not really them, but I still love the song. And I've texted my manager. I said, when I go on tour, or if I'm privileged enough to go on tour, I would love to have Where Is My Mind in my set, just to like break out of everything and just be like, where is my mind? Like, it's just like such a cool vibe.
That is I think that would be a really good crowd pleaser, but they wouldn't even like know, you know? I feel like that's like a really good surprise addition. It's not like your classic like fan favorite, but everyone can vibe to it for sure.
Well, it's just like that guitar, like that electric guitar riff that's going back and forth. I feel like when you hear it, you're like, oh my gosh, I know this song. Even if I don't know it, I know this song.
absolutely transcending. But let's, we're going to wrap up that game. Let's talk about this whole transition that we kind of alluded to. You graduating on in 2 days.
Congrats.
Oh my God, that's wild. So where's your mind at right now? Is it, well, you also just finished the studio, so your mind's truly kind of everywhere right now.
Yeah, it's definitely all over the place because I'm still trying to balance the normal life of a teenager and being a teenager, because that is what I am, an 18-year-old. So I'm just, I'll basically, this is my schedule. I get up, I try and get up early so I don't waste my day sleeping.
Yeah.
But I'll get up and then I'll do music during the day, whether that's emails or doing interviews or that kind of sort of stuff. And then I'll also record. But then at night, I try and free up my nights at least 4 or 5 times out of the week, so I can go and socialize and go to parties and go hang out with friends, just so I can at least have stuff to write about. So I feel like it's important to have a life so you can write about your life.
Low key on the clock there, for real.
Yeah. So mine's definitely been kind of scattered all over the place, but it's definitely nice to know that I can really focus all my energy and brain energy on music instead of school, because that balance was really difficult, especially at the end.
Mm-hmm. More Than Friends, we definitely want to talk about, because I think something that's so special about it is how much it resonates with people super organically. It has 57,000 TikToks using the song and over 2 million streams on Spotify alone.
And there were big people using the TikToks. It wasn't small creators. It was Vani and Sienna. I always butcher these people's names, so I don't want to mess it up. But there were big people that were using the names. That's not a little thing to do.
Yeah. So how did that even get started for you? People starting to use More Than Friends.
Yeah. When I released the first 3 songs that I released weren't under Capital or anything. So it was all my own marketing, and I would just sit on TikTok and make dumb videos or funny videos to the songs, trying to get them as pushed out there as much as possible. But before I released More Than Friends, somebody at TikTok reached out to me and were like, I really like your music. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And I was emailing back and forth with her, and she presented the song when it was released to their team of music people at TikTok, and they put it on one of their playlists, their sound playlists. I think it was the week of the release. And after that, I just saw videos on videos. I'm like, oh my gosh, this playlist is actually working. People are seeing the song. And then I got, it was a couple months later, it died down a little bit. And then out of nowhere, I get this text. I was in the library. I'm during my 4th period of school. And I got this text from one of my really good friends. And she goes, holy crap, dude, Sienna just used your sound. And I was like, Sienna, Hype House Sienna? And she's like, yeah. And she sends me the video, and there it is, her and Jack using the song. And I'm like, I go to an all guys prep school. So I'm sitting there with the guys. I'm like, dude, God, Sienna just used my song. And they're like, what? And it's all these guys flock around. They're like, are you serious? It was a really cool moment. But after that, it was just kind of uphill from there, and it started to generate more and more traction. Next thing I know, Avani used it, and some of the Sway, I think it is Sway House people. Mm-hmm. I think Keo, that's who I was told to use it, Keo. And then a couple of the other guys from New York, Polo Boy, and there's a bunch of cool names that I saw, and I'm like, this is the craziest thing. People are actually listening to the song, and it was translating on Spotify too. The numbers were going up, and I was like, whoa. Next thing you know, it was 1 million streams, and I truly did not think that was even possible for me. I didn't know that was in my deck of cards. But when it crossed that mark, it was one of the coolest feelings, for sure.
So when that was starting to happen, what's your immediate thoughts? Do you want to follow it up, or do you want to bask in it?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I had wrote Communication pretty close after More Than Friends. It had been there for a while, but during that time, right after I released More Than Friends, was when Capital reached out and was like, hey, let's talk. And it was kind of a period of figuring out what that meant and signing. So I kind of took a chill for a sec to focus on that because I didn't want to mess that up. I knew that if people liked the music and I kept marketing it in special ways and creating content for it, it could at least hold me over till I put something new out and got more stuff ready. So I kind of focused on that, and they were all for that. They're like, hey, take your time. Now we'll step in, we'll help with the marketing. And they did their job, doing a great job with pushing it out to Spotify playlists and stuff. And now you write. And so they gave me time to write and get all the next stuff ready to go. So yeah.
When you're not anticipating millions of people listening to kind of vulnerable lyrics, like, were you a little like shy? Because does the girl who this track is about now know? And were you exposed?
She knows. That song was like, it was a really real experience. Like, I was friends with this girl for a long, like most high school relationships, it's like, hey, you're cute, you're also very cute, let's hang out, next week you're dating, right? Like, that's how it is. It's so fast. And so I was like used to that. I was like, this is junior year, I think. And I was like hanging out with this girl, and we'd been hanging out for like 3 months. And I was at a point where I was like, all right, this is dope, but I really don't want to be just friends anymore. Like, I want to be more. So I wrote a song about it, and it ended up turning into just me exposing myself. And that picture, actually, the cover art of it, the girl, that's who it's about.
I was going to, I asked that
was a
question
Devin had.
I was like doing some,
during our digging.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is the girl. Well,
what's funny is, like, that day we took that photo was, I don't know, I hope she's not going to kill me if I do this. It was the first time we kissed.
Oh, cute.
It was like right before we took that photo was like right when we were like not more than friends. I mean, not when we're not just
the awkward, like, gray in between, area.
Yeah, and it was such a weird, like, it was a really cool experience because of how all my friends there, and they're kind of like, they can like sense it. They're like, all right, okay.
This is finally going to happen.
Sounds like you got some supportive friends too. That's awesome.
This is finally happening. So it was a really real song. And there was probably too much that was real with it, especially because she was like in the photo. But it ended up being cool, and I laugh about it now. And we're, still really good friends. So.
Hey, it's a good story. It came out with a great song. So,
I mean, and as your career continues to like transcend, you'll always have that like very real and vulnerable moment. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But of course you followed up with Communication, which is your first release under Capitol. That is, no small feat, dude. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, that song was getting it ready. We definitely took our time because we wanted to make sure, it was good. And we brought on Zach Faraci, also known as Versace.
Our friend.
We've interviewed him in the past, and like, he's one of the artists that we've maintained a fun online relationship with. I really love him a lot.
He's also so talented. Yeah, I think he's one of my favorite artists we've interviewed, and he's just like an amazing human to begin with. So it just really works with his music, and I love that you were able to do this song with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zach is one of the most genuine people I have ever met. And like you said, he is, when people like, he kind of flies low key, which is kind of weird because, I mean, his music is insane and it pops off, but like still like he still kind of flies low key. And so he works on a ton of other projects and produces for a lot of other artists. And his production wise, like when I've talked to people about this, he's like an anomaly. He's so incredibly well versed with Ableton and that software. It makes no sense. I have never seen somebody so incredibly talented on a software that it's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And he's like, yeah, bro, you just like do it. And I'm like, okay. But he did act as like a mentor for me, and he still acts as a mentor for me. We developed a really solid friendship over the creation and co-production of that song. And he's like an older brother to me that I never had now. And I still text him on a daily, if not weekly basis. But but he genuinely is one of the most talented guys. And he put his own, like the original demo of that song was still the same general song. Like it was all, we co-produced, so it was still a song, but the flair and the, spice that he added on his side really made that song really like how special it is now. That bass line, that super crazy synth bass line that was originally like acoustic bass. I mean, he really like added his own flair. And when I heard it for the first time, I literally called him like, dude, yes, so much yes.
That's something. Yeah. Sorry, I think that's something that I really liked about you. I read that you said you're not necessarily married to any of your tracks or ideas, and you really appreciate other people's opinions and insight. And I think that's really awesome. It's a kind of a unique approach. I feel like a lot of people are really attached to their music, and it doesn't mean you're not attached to it, but it is so cool that you're able to take inspiration from him, and you can like tell that he's worked on the track, but it's still yours, which I think creates the best possible work.
Yeah, it's funny, Zach and I, we talked about that because there are a lot of artists that are really married to their music and their lyrics and all that stuff, which isn't a bad thing at all. If you believe in something, believe in it wholeheartedly, and that's awesome. But for me specifically, I don't know why, but I've just never been married to anything that I create. I feel like if I have something, I'm like, this is dope, but I want to see what this guy can do to it because it might be even cooler. You know what I mean? Especially if I like the stuff that they put out, I think there's a great possibility that they have either good advice or could work on it and it just be this crazy cool, product that we end up coming out with. And Zach, when he sent me the first kind of take of the song, he was definitely very conservative. Like he didn't stray away from like the path that much, which was totally cool. And but I called him up. I'm like, hey, Zach, I don't care what you do to this song. You can tear it to pieces, like do whatever you want. Because once you say that, like for me, at least if somebody told me that and I was producing the song, I would then get creatively invested. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to live in a box of restraints. And I feel like that really happened when I told Zach that, he was like, okay. And he like did all this crazy stuff. And I don't think there was really one thing I removed that he added and when he was like giving no ties or anything, I was like, go you, do you. And it turned out awesome. So that's a big thing. I don't ever want to box a producer or songwriter or co-writer with, or in.
That's an awesome mindset to have. I think just that the way he initially approached it, it just shows you how uncommon it is for people to be so accepting and understanding of letting someone else on their track. But again, like it really does create the best possible work, and thus communication was born. All right, well, you got the first release under Capitol under your belt. What's next?
Oh man. Well, I can't say there is more music, that's for sure. I've been working on like a ton of stuff, especially like the one that I'm working on right. I've been working on like a plethora of songs, and I'm very excited for all of them. I don't know what it is about this one that I've been working on the past week. It might be just because it's in its honeymoon phase and it's new. But I truly do love the stuff that I've been making recently, and this one specifically is like one of those songs where you just scream at the top of your lungs with the windows down, and it's so fun, and I love it. It's like Communication mixed with like Worst Girls of All Time, like that distorted kind of feel. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Do you have any type of like anticipation of dates or anything like going forward? Not like going on a date, like dates of releases.
So like originally back in this last summer, I was doing like the whole like song every 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. I'm trying to get back on that pace. So hopefully, once I get all the ones that I've been working on kind of squared away, I'll have a bank of songs and we'll just kind of set them up for every 4 to 6 weeks. Cause I like that. It keeps the listener interested. It's not shoving music down their throat. especially, I mean, and people have always asked me like, oh, when's your album coming out? I'm like, like, I feel like if I release, I'm a very small artist right now. And if I release an album, I'm not sure everybody would spend 25 minutes and listen to the whole thing. So I'd rather just kind of keep it small until I, build a really strong foundation where people would be devoted enough to spend 20 minutes listening to me be emotional. So
yeah, pouring out your heart, really.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you said if you're privileged enough to tour, have you ever played out yet?
This is funny. I had his sophomore year, I started a band at my high school, and we called ourselves Offshore. This was before I could sing too. Like I just started singing 2 years ago. I started taking lessons 2 years ago. But we had me, I played rhythm guitar mixed with lead. And then I had another guy, Adam, he played lead. And I had my friend Brett on drums and my friend George on bass. And we were like doing it for fun. And it was cool. There was also another high school band that was fairly big in the Tampa area for a high school band doing the same thing. And I was like, oh, I want to be like them. That's gonna be cool. But we needed a singer. We didn't have anybody who sang. And I don't know what it was about me being like front and center. And I would be like, yeah, that's cool. That's what I want to be. So I opted in to be the singer, and I sucked so bad for the first bit before like any singing lessons. I was like a dying cat. We have audio, like those voice memos of my uncle. My uncle, he records them and then he would like play them back to me. He's like, yeah, buddy, you're making good progress, aren't you? I'm like, shut up. I am.
That's humbling.
Yeah, it was very humbling. But yeah, we ended up that other band at my high school asked us to open a show for them at this like hole in the wall bar that had a stage and stuff. And I was like, this is my moment. This is my breakout show. It's going to be great. I'm going to be super famous after this now. But yeah, we opened this show for them. First time I've ever really got on stage and sang like alone, like not having any choir, because I was in like choir and stuff. But ever since I still remember it so vividly. I got on that stage and it was like the coolest feeling I've ever felt. I used to play sports. Football was like my thing, and that's all I wanted to do. And it was like the same feeling as like scoring a touchdown. Like it felt so good just to be there. And I knew that's where I wanted to be from that moment on. And yeah, there was like 100 people there. It was a cool little show at this little bar. My parents showed up when I told them specifically not to. They told me, they literally told me, oh, we won't show up. Don't worry about it. They showed up.
Front and center.
They showed up. But I did end up dedicating a song to my mom, which is kind of sweet. But yeah, it was cool. So I performed once. Oh, but other than that, heck no.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah, get
That's
ready
all
for
I have
it.
to say.
But I'm excited. I just like being able to connect to people on that like personal of a level is so cool. So hopefully one day.
I mean, definitely soon. I don't even know what to say other than like the rest of your life, you'll have so many opportunities to play shows. Like you will never be in a drought again.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I know.
Not another freaking pandemic.
Yeah, knock on wood. Like holy crap.
Knock on soundproof for blanket. Well, we wrap up all of our interviews with this question: is just like, what are your personal goals for the next year?
Next year. Ooh, man. Okay. For the next year, I would like to have a total of 12 songs out at the minimum. I think that's pretty fair.
That's like 1 month.
Yeah.
If not more, I'm saying at the minimum. Also, I think I would really like to play a couple shows this year. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to tour. I think touring like next summer would be dope. Like once I have all those songs ready, I think a tour next summer would be an awesome goal for me to set. And I think it's very achievable, maybe.
100%.
But yeah, definitely playing a couple shows and meeting more artists and working with as many artists as possible, because I love working with new artists to get their takes and stuff. So I feel like those are some goals. Yeah.
Well, we'll check
in. Those are good goals.
Yeah, we'll check it in a year, and I'm pretty confident all of that will be checked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do that. Like, have me on a year from now, and I would love to see the progress.
Like the Billie Eilish interviews.
I was literally going to say that. Imagine, but we do it with you. Ask the same questions, but a year from now.
I know. When you get like super famous, you have to give us some credit, all right?
That would be so sick. I would love to do that. Like to see the progress would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll be in touch in about 365 days.
Yeah. Just send out a date for a year in advance.
May 25th. It will be in everyone's calendar. Yep. 2022.
525. All right. Well, Aiden, thank you so much for calling in. Again, we're so excited to see the trajectory of your career once life gets back to normal, like kind of soon. So we're really excited. And of course, we'll be in touch with management about episode release date.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is great. I loved it. Coolest interview so far. So
heck yeah.
I honestly had so much fun with that interview, and I can't believe he is only 18. He has so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
Even like just between now and Thursday.
Literally 2 days.
Like he's graduating high school on Thursday.
I know, man. That's what. And then not only that, like he just released his first major label release, and this episode, I'm pretty sure, comes out on his graduation day.
Do we need to get him like a sign or something?
I know.
The backdrop should have said a happy graduation,
Dude,
Aiden.
we should have threw him like a little party. Maybe on like episode release day, we can have a little graduation party for him. And by that, I mean I'll probably just get drunk at his honor.
Yeah.
That's awkward because he's graduating high school. Anyways, his latest track, Communication, is streaming atop the Music You're Missing playlist now. His shining face, as you see here, is on the cover of the Music You're Missing playlist. And where can you find him on social media, Devin?
You can find him on Instagram at Aiden.Bisset.
And while you're there, you should maybe check us out where?
At Music You're Missing.
Except not on TikTok, because Devin...
It wasn't my fault. Like they literally, Music You're Missing was already taken. I don't know who took it.
Someone straight up. So first of all, I've been having a lot of beef on TikTok. I'm being cyberbullied a little bit more than I would like to admit. But beyond that, someone stole Music You're Missing on TikTok and then just doesn't post anything on it. So it's really frustrating. So on TikTok, it's at Music You're Missing podcast.
Hey, Big Night, can you do something about this?
Yeah, right.
Like,
get the lawyers out. But for real, this is our first episode, and we're very excited to see what's to come in our little new studio, and with our homie Peter, and with the Big Night gang. So stay tuned for some merch, some concerts, and some good vibes.
You guys are in for a treat. That's all I have to say.
Peace out.
Thank you.
A-Town.
Bye. Oh, no. Goodbye.